Hello everyone, this is me, Matthew Hamelman, and I am once again restarting my Matthew Sports Talk show, giving you my opinions on not just Minnesota sports, but also sports in general, considering that we are at a pivotal moment right now in the 2020 sports season with the baseball being in playoff or close to playoff mode and the NFL just starting up. I figured it was a good time to restart the show. So I have my talking points right here. So let's get to it. We will start, of course, with the Minnesota Vikings. And it was definitely frustrating to watch the game on, it wasn't yesterday because this is actually Tuesday morning, so this would have been Sunday. And yeah, I knew coming into this season the defense was going to be a question mark, but man, it was bad. I didn't think so. I didn't think it was going to be this bad, but then again, you got young cornerbacks against Aaron Rodgers. Kind of hard to expect them to lock everything down. And Danielle Hunter was out, so that contributed to the fact that they couldn't really pressure Rodgers in the pocket. And also, playing in an empty stadium probably definitely was a little bit of a factor, being the fact that I've been to US Bank Stadium on game day, and with how loud it gets in there, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers probably would have been a little bit, under pressure, but no, he didn't get pressured at all on Sunday. So yeah, there's that. And the offense did all right. Most people would have been like, well, where was the offense in the first half? I'm like, well, hello. They didn't really play in the first half because the defense couldn't get off the field. Couldn't stop Aaron Rodgers for anything. So, there's that. So, yeah, I mean, Zimmer will probably cuss out somebody on defense, because, that was an embarrassment for a team that prides itself on defense being under Mike Zimmer. Yeah, that was an embarrassment. And like I said, offense did all right, down the stretch. Maybe one little bloop error being the interception that Cousins threw, but other than that, they did all right. So, yeah, I mean, disappointed, yeah, but it's week 1 and there was no, preseason, so can't be super disappointed, but still disappointed. So that's that for the Vikings. So I'm going to hit on a couple of the games that I found interesting on Sunday, because I felt like these games actually had were interesting matchups, and the results even more interesting. So there's 3 of them. The first one will be the Saints against the Buccaneers. So for anyone who thought the Buccaneers were automatic Super Bowl contenders with Tom Brady, this is what I do. I laugh at you. No, I mean, come on. Just because a team goes and loads up on talent doesn't necessarily mean that it will gel in week 1, and it honestly clearly didn't. Tom Brady definitely missed some throws, threw a couple of interceptions, one of which was returned for a touchdown, so there's that. So if they had beaten the Saints, or even came close to beating the Saints, that would have been a statement for them saying, hey, Saints, you ain't going to win the AFC South as easy as it was before. But the Saints prove that they are still the front runners for the NFC South. But they did look a little rusty. Drew Brees wasn't as sharp. Sorry, just give me one moment. I want to pull up the stats. Yeah, Brees was only 18 for 30 with 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, that's not that good. And, I mean, you guys are underusing my man Michael Thomas, which was one of my first round draft picks because I have 2 fantasy football teams. He was the first round draft pick for one of them. 3 receptions for a total of 17 yards. Yeah, I'm not that happy about that. That only got me 4.7 fantasy points, and he was supposed to get like 20. They did use Alvin Kamara pretty well, but still, it's like, if you guys want to get this division again, or win this division again, you're going to need to be able to use all your weapons. Not just Kamara, but also Michael Thomas, and probably Jared Cook. So, just a little note on that. The next game, Cardinals and the 49ers. Cardinals surprisingly beat the 49ers. And I'm not going to go into it whether the 49ers, lost it or the Cardinals win it. I just simply come down to the fact that I think the Cardinals use their weapons better than the 49ers. Because, pulling up the stats right now, Kyler Murray threw for a touchdown. He also ran for a touchdown. He had 230 passing yards and 91 rushing yards. Oh my gosh. And then the new guy, DeAndre Hopkins, got 151 receiving yards. So the Cardinals using their weapons pretty well on offense. And the 49ers, they weren't terrible, but still, you gotta be able to use your weapons. Mostert, their running back, Mostert, I think that's how you pronounce it. He did get 56 rushing yards, 95 receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns, so that's pretty good. But George Kittle, only 44 reception yards. Yeah, he needs to get the ball, and I know he got injured late in the game, but still. So, yeah, that was a surprising result on Sunday. And then the final game that I'm going to go into detail talking about is the Rams and the Cowboys. Oh, as my man Stephen A. Smith is an avid hater of Cowboys and Cowboys fans. I am too. And this is because the Cowboys have been so overrated. So overrated. Yes, they have explosive weapons on offense such as Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper. You can also argue Michael Gallup in that conversation. But the lack of explosive plays that they had on Sunday against the Rams is what done them in. Plain and simple. You have to, if you have players like this, you have to be able to use them well. And, you just go, you go back. Dak Prescott, 266 yards, 1 touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott, 96 yards, 1 touchdown. Yeah, under 100 yards, Ezekiel Elliott. Come on. And then Amari Cooper, 81 yards. So, yeah, you gotta do better than that, and especially when the opposing quarterback doesn't even throw for a touchdown. Jared Goff was 20 for 31 for 275 yards, and he did throw 1 interception. Yeah, no. And also the other, there was 2 controversies in that game. One was a late PTI, offensive PTI against the Cowboys. You can look it up. I looked at the play. There was some pushing off, so I definitely agree with the call. And then going for it on 4th, and I can't remember how short it was, but that was just an unnecessary risk. There was plenty of time left in the game. There was like 11 minutes left in the game. You could have very easily kicked a field goal. and relied on your defense. But no, you gambled for it and you lost. So, say what you say about that. It is what it is. Cowboys are just overrated, and they did typical things, not gain explosive plays out of their explosive players. So, moving on. For the rest of the NFL, starting out with the Chiefs and the Texans. The Chiefs winning, pretty nice score, 34-20. The Chiefs, most teams coming off a Super Bowl win tend not to look like they're already in Super Bowl form week 1 of the season. They look like they're ready for the Super Bowl week 1 of the season. They beat a pretty formidable team in the Texans, even though the Texans do not have DeAndre Hopkins anymore. They still have Deshaun Watson, so there's that. So yeah, the Chiefs looking pretty good right off the bat. The next one, you got the Eagles. Oh, the Eagles. I don't know they were up 17-0 against the Washington football team. They have a politically correct name until they come up with a politically correct nickname. So, kudos to them. You were up over them 17-0, and then you proceeded to get sacked 8 times. I think you probably threw a couple of interceptions. Yeah, 2 interceptions. So yeah, come on. And I understand Dallas Goedert is a fancy new toy for you, but you still gotta rely on my man Zach Ertz. He's another one on one of my fantasy teams. You gotta rely on him. He only got 1 reception, I think. I think it was for a touchdown though. Oh, correction. So Zach Ertz got 3 receptions for 18 yards and 1 touchdown. But still, very, another weapon that was underutilized in that game. So, Eagles, that was a bad loss. So yeah. Oh yes, and the Bears and the Lions, a game that I could care very less about, but I still want to talk about it because, oh man, the Lions had this game and they blew it big time. You had Mitchell Trubisky on the ropes, and yet you couldn't catch a football in the end zone to win the game. That was a very clear, Lions lost that game. The Bears didn't win that game. The Lions lost that game. That was very clear. So, getting that off my chest. Just saying the facts. Lucy. I don't even think the Alma's correct saying, but whatever. Okay, what else? Oh, yes. Ravens. Looking pretty good. Even though you did stomp out the Browns. Yeah, you look really good. And, but the Browns, whew, you think with how many changes the Browns have been in, with, coaching changes, quarterback changes, what have you, that eventually they would have find some way to get something going. They didn't. And as of right now, I think it's going to be one of those things where unless you do a complete overhaul, you're not going to see any positive change on that team. So there's that. Big Ben just finished playing a Monday Night Football game about a couple hours ago. He looked pretty good coming back from an arm injury. Just pulling out his stats now, 229 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, yep, beating the New York Giants, which, I didn't expect the Giants to. I mean, the Giants did do all right, but they still lost. So, moving on. I'm just going to do a quick rundown on the rest of the league, on the games there. You got the Seahawks beating the Falcons 38-25. Russ Wilson looking very, very good. And my man Chris Carson. Chris Carson, once again, on one of my fantasy teams. He had... Sorry, I'm pulling it up. Chris Carson had 21 rushing yards, 45 reception yards with 2 reception touchdowns. So, very, very good fantasy points there, which I will get into detail later. I will have a fantasy football talk a little bit later in this segment, but for right now, just going with, talking about football in general. The Bills beating the Jets 27-17. Once again, the Jets kind of in the same category as the Browns. Still irrelevant. Still don't care about them. Bills definitely look like they could be the front runner to win the AFC East now that the Brady is out of that division. By the way, Brady's old team, the Patriots, won 21-11 to the Dolphins. Cam Newton, 15 rushing attempts. He got 75 yards and 2 touchdowns, but that's not going to last very long. I mean, he is a beast, but he's still, in his 30s. And I don't think the Patriots can win that division using that style of play. Do I think the Patriots could still go to the playoffs? Sure. But I think that's it. I don't think they'll win the division this year. And I don't think that even if they make the playoffs, that they'll do anything in the playoffs. So, moving on. Raiders beating the Panthers 34-30. That game was, I would say, a little bit of a surprise. I actually picked the Panthers. But, that's 2 mediocre teams that I don't think are going to make the playoffs. But still, some impressive numbers rushing-wise from both sides of that game. Christian McCaffrey, 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Josh Jacobs, 93 yards and 3 touchdowns. Whew. I didn't realize Josh Jacobs was that. Josh Jacobs also got 46 receiving yards. So, he's definitely a player to watch out for now. Jaguars being the Colts 27-20. Phillip Rivers, you're looking pretty rusty. Almost Tom Brady rusty. So I think the Jaguars got lucky there. Moving on. The Chargers beat the Bengals 16-13. Oh, the Bengals. I feel bad for Joe Burrow. He actually had a pretty decent game. Excuse me. But, alas. You missed a field goal that would have tied it at the end. Yeah. That's that. That was it for Sunday. And then the only other game that I haven't talked about is the game that just finished about, half an hour ago or so. Titans beating the Broncos 16-14. How did I put this? I think the Titans got very, very lucky. When your kicker misses 3 field goals, granted one of them was blocked, and an extra point attempt, it's very, very hard. I would find it very, very hard to have confidence in that kicker. But yet, they trusted him to go out to kick the game-winning field goal. So, kudos for the reversal of bad fortune there. But the Broncos could have won this game and probably should have won this game because of how bad the Titans couldn't get a field goal to save their lives. And on that last drive for the Titans, the Broncos should have stopped the clock more so that they had more time to try to get into field goal range on the opposing drive and kick probably the game. Well, it should have been the game-winning field goal, but no, they let time kill down, and yeah, that's what done them in. So yep, that is the rundown of all the NFL games this week. And week 2 starting in about 48, in about 60, no, not 60. In a couple days from now, the Thursday night game, and once again, it's the Bengals and the Browns. Whoop-de-effing-do. Whatever. So, actually, I'm going to reverse my talking points here, or at least the order I'm going to present them in. Because as you can see, I did write down some talking points. I was going to talk about fantasy football, but actually I want to talk about my power rankings first. So, as you can see, I have a power rankings already. I know you said week 1. Well, actually I had one before this week. So I'm just going to go down the line and maybe talk a little bit about each. So, staying at number 1, Kansas City Chiefs, obviously. Staying at number 2, Baltimore Ravens. Jumping up 3 spots from number 6 to number 3 is the Green Bay Packers. I do this solely because Aaron Rodgers did pretty good, and because of the fact that, they beat another good team in us, the Minnesota Vikings. So, only reason why I bumped them up. New Orleans Saints staying at number 4. Seattle Seahawks staying at number 5. Jumping up 4 spots from number 10 to number 6 is the Buffalo Bills. And something I forgot to mention, the Bills defense looking really, really good. I think, what was it, 2 interceptions on a fumble? They are actually on one of my fantasy teams, so just bringing up the stats right now. Interception and fumble recovery. Yep. So, yeah, pretty good start for the Buffalo Bills defense. Number 7, jumping up number 7, jumping up 5 spots. Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, Roethlisberger looked a little better than I thought he would. I thought he'd be a little bit rusty, but he looked a little bit better. Going down 5 spots from number 3 to number 8 is the 49ers. So the 49ers are the only team in my top 10 that lost on Sunday. Only because I feel like they're still, a team that deserves a top 10 ranking. And, it's not like they got blown out when they lost to the Cardinals. They lost by 4 points. So, at number 9, jumping up 4 spots, is the New England Patriots. At number 10, also jumping up 4 spots, is the Los Angeles Rams. Dropping 2 spots, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dropping 4 spots from number 8 to number 12 is my Minnesota Vikings. At number 13, dropping 2 spots, the Tennessee Titans. So even though this is a case there, and there are a few of them, that even though the team won, I still felt like the way that they performed causes them to drop in the power rankings. So, yeah, that's what that is. The biggest drop of the week, dropping from number 7 to number 14, is the Houston Texans. They will probably rebound, but for now, I think they're probably stuck in that, middle category. Jumping up 5 spots from number 20 to number 15 is the aforementioned Arizona Cardinals that beat the 49ers. So, there's that. Number 16 up from 19, Raiders. Number 17 down from 15, Eagles. Staying in number 18, Carolina Panthers. Up from number 22 to number 19, the Washington football team. up from 21 to 20. Chargers up from number 27 to number 21. Jacksonville Jaguars. So that would be the biggest jump of the week. Down from number 16 to number 22, Dallas Cowboys. Down from number 17 to number 23, Indianapolis Colts. Staying at number 24, Chicago Bears. Down from number 23 to number 25, Atlanta Falcons. Down one spot, number 26, Broncos. Down one spot, number 27, New York Giants. Up 3 spots, at number 28, Miami Dolphins. And I know you're like, that big of a jump, that low in the rankings? Strictly because the teams that are below them did worse. And those are teams that are staying at number 29 is the Lions. Down 2 spots is the Bengals. Up 1 spot at number 31 is the New York Jets. And down 2 spots from number 30 to number 32, the last ranked Cleveland Browns. So, as you can see, or as you can hear, that is my week 2 power rankings. So, now going back, and it is time to talk about my fantasy football teams. This might be a little bit boring, but so one of my teams won, one of my teams lost. So, the team that lost by 30, and I attributed that because I didn't have great productions from my running backs. 6.7 points from Tariq Cohen and 8.6 points from Marlon Mack, who, by the way, got injured with an Achilles injury. So I will be dropping him and picking up a healthy person. And, you know, Michael Thomas being underutilized, he was on that team. He only got 4.7 points from me. So when you expect 20 and you get 4.7, you know, that's definitely a letdown. And, you know, I guess I am a little bit bummed. I mean, the highlight on that team is definitely Adam Thielen, who got 110 yards and 2 touchdowns, equaling 31 fantasy points. And Sammy Watkins, I mean, that game against the Chiefs and the Chiefs and the Texans, I would have definitely thought that Tyreek Hill would have gotten most of the reception yards. But Sammy Watkins is definitely a surprise. And I had him on my bench, and he got 82 yards and a touchdown for a total of 21.5 yards. So I could put him in and gained a little bit of ground, but probably definitely not enough to win that week because I was lost by 30. But my other team, my primary team, won 89-80. Very, very close. They came down to how Ben Roethlisberger performed, and he only got 2 points more than my guy, Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, my highlight on that team would have been, you know, Chris Carson with, you know, 24.6 fantasy points. At my low point, you know, I used to, I tried as much as possible to get Vikings players. The only player I got on this team that's Vikings is their defense, and I am dropping that. Until the Vikings defense figures themselves out, they're going to end up hurting me more than helping me. Because they had -9 points against the Packers. So, yeah, I'll be picking up a better defense. And this is another, I mean, I have 2 players on both of my teams. And that is Sammy Watkins and Marlon Mack. So obviously, Marlon Mack I'm going to be dropping from both teams and adding a healthy player. And I maybe start Sammy Watkins next week, depending on how things go. So that concludes my football talk of this Matthew Sports Talk episode. I will be going into baseball next and my Minnesota Twins, as well as giving you a rundown of the MLB and also the NBA and the NHL. But we are nearing the half-hour mark right now, so we will, you know, stop it right here, and I will continue this on part 2 of my of this episode. So, yeah, look out for part 2.